Emirates Stakes, made possible by our telecast partner, TUI's new What Mates Do.
Some of the most graphic shots you could see. Adam and the guys have done a great job from the chopper, and perhaps we're seeing a future Melbourne Cup winning rider today with the ponies out here at Flemington, or maybe quite possibly we're seeing a future chairman of stewards, because that's where Mr. Des Gleeson started out. Des, wasn't it, on the ponies?
It was. It brings back a few memories, Pete, but those ponies there are a little bit quieter than the one that I would commence my riding career on.
Had a few problems, did you?
Yes, it was a stubborn little Shetland pony that wouldn't take no for an answer.
Two other matters. We've spoken a lot about the Danny Nikolic situation throughout the week, and of course yesterday the charge was withdrawn. Can you take us through what happened yesterday?
Well, yesterday we had additional veterinary advice, Peter, following an inspection of Mummify by Dr. Paul O'Callaghan, Racing Victoria's veterinary surgeon at Lee Friedman's property on Tuesday morning. And his evidence was that the horse clearly had a respiratory complaint and a bacterial infection, and the veterinary evidence also suggests that it was possible that that condition may have been developing when Mummify ran in the McKinnon Stakes. So after considering all the facts, the stewards gave Danny Nikolic the benefit of the doubt and withdrew the charge that was issued against him on Monday. On Monday, the veterinary evidence all supported the fact that there was nothing wrong with the horse. It had galloped on a couple of occasions following the McKinnon Stakes without any problems, but obviously this had been manifesting itself for a few days.
Yep. I want to ask you one point about Danny's ride on Mummify. As a punter, or as a jockey that once rode, but talking from a punter's
perspective.
I got that wrong the other
That's
day
it.
too, thanks. Do you want Danny to do a little bit more?
Oh, absolutely.
Under those circumstances again? I mean, I want to touch the point from the top of the straight, from the 500-metre mark to the 300-metre mark. Did he test the horse enough, in your opinion, and do you need him to do a little bit more, even though the horse didn't feel good to him?
Clearly what you're saying is right. We want Danny, we told him yesterday that we don't believe it would be detrimental to the horse's welfare, testing a horse hands and heels under those circumstances, and clearly that's what he has to do in future. To satisfy us, to satisfy the connections of the horse and to satisfy the punters. And if something's building up in the horse, then perhaps if he had have tested it at the appropriate time, it may well have come forward, the condition that the horse had, without being detrimental to the horse's welfare.
Des, can I just really quickly ask you about how close Damien Oliver was to being suspended in the Oaks?
Well, he was close. We considered all the evidence. The mitigating factor was that Corey Brown's mount did shift considerably, 2 to 3 horses probably, after Damien Oliver just commenced or just committed himself to the outside of that horse's heels.
Yeah.
Prior to that, Danny Nikolic had whipped around on Mr. McDonald's horse and shifted in to close the gap as Damien was shifting out. But had not of Corey Brown's mount shifted, we'd have charged Damien Oliver and suspended him and fined him.
Can I just say on this last day of the carnival, thank you to you and your merry men and lady for all of your cooperation throughout the carnival. It's been fantastic that you've been able to give us your time to come in here in what has been a very busy carnival in lots of ways. Thanks from everyone at Seven.
My pleasure, Peter and Simon, and it's really good to be able to give the stewards' perspective to you and your viewers.
Good on you, Des. You're a popular boy too. You've been having your photos snapped everywhere on course throughout these 3 days.
Once or twice, Simon, that's enough.
You're
And
a
even
popular man, eh?
Neil Kearney's done a story on him in the paper today. Thanks again, Des. Thanks for
My
coming
pleasure,
in.
Pete.
Good on you, Des.
Thanks, Simon.
Well, apart from the racing side of things, of course, this sport is very much about punting, and it certainly was on Tuesday, because punters around Australia bet about $110 million Australia-wide on the famous TUI's new Melbourne Cup, and I can tell you something, the splurge is still going.
No, it's not a starry night, or not yet anyway. This is actually the first floor area of the members. It's called the Forum. It's a den of iniquity, a cave. There are screens right around, races all over Australia. The gentlemen come in here and they take their hats off and they do what they love most. They punt.
brought the weather with us.
Yeah, it's nice and shady in here, isn't it?
Mate, it is, yeah. This
How have you been? Oh, is it
Average, mate.
Hey?
Big better. I'm just doing average. Just doing average.
You what?
Average. No good. No good.
Oh, you're doing average.
Average, eh? Hey,
Yeah.
hey, hey,
The
no
All
good.
Blacks will win.
I think the All Blacks win by 40 points.
I'm coming back here next Saturday to visit me money.
There'll be nothing here next Saturday, only your money.
My money is here.
I came down for what we have a racing mass every year.
But in here, Brother Dan, it's almost like a religion, the punt, isn't it?
Well, yes, people are here not only to punt, but they're here to celebrate the enjoyment of friendship and just having a good reunion. And the punt comes into it. I'm trying to get a quinella or two.
Everything's just the screen, the betting. It's the atmosphere is fantastic.
It's like heaven.
It is. It is like heaven.
Did you back Holy Orders?
No, I did not. No, definitely.
Wasn't that an omen for
I
you?
made frightening instead.
Oh, that's devilish of you. Of course, punting isn't secret men's business. The ladies do it too. You heard there's been a thunderstorm outside?
No, there's not.
Temperature's dropped 10 degrees.
There is not.
What are you doing in here?
I can see it on the screen. Here, you get to see everything all up in the lights.
You look like a big grin on your face.
Oh, yeah, I'm very happy. First time I bet, first time I've won. So
First bet.
Yeah.
And you've come in here.
I know.
You won't go back out in the sunshine, will you?
Oh, absolutely never again.
You love all those names and numbers?
Love them.
And do you chase them all over the place?
I chase them everywhere.
Are you big punters?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So how are you going on the punt?
Good. Kate's won $8, so we're doing very well.
Breaking even so far, maybe.
In here, though, do the blokes look your way, or are they more interested in the boards behind you?
I don't
Boards
know.
behind us. We don't want them to look our way.
They might try to, but we'll say no up there.
Neil Kearney in the Forum. We are up above Flemington and jockeys are up now for race 2. It is the Jayco Maribyrnong Plate over 1,000 metres. Let's have a look at the runners now. A couple unraced, important to look at. And here's one that's important to look at. Picket Fence number 1 from the John Hawkes Yard has only had the one start and has won. How did this horse get his name? Well, his brand is 111 over 1. What a beautiful name for a horse. Just explain that brand, Simon.
That brand, Peter, means that he is the 111th foal, born on the 21st of...
in the year 2001.
In the year 2000. So he's the 111th foal.
And he's pretty handy too.
Glad I got that out, but yeah, he looks sensational. He's not over big, this horse, Peter. Commands his father, the sire of this horse. He does throw a nice type. He was very impressive at Caulfield, where he sat back and he got to the line very well.
On to San Zero number 2. Lee Friedman is the trainer. Brett Preble takes the ride. Importantly, has had the experience down the straight here, Simon.
He'll benefit a great deal from that, and he looks fantastic today, Pete.
Number 3 is Insurgents, another one from the John Hawkes Yard. Darren Gauci is the rider, has only had the one run, and that was 4th at Moonee Valley behind Oratorio, beaten less than 2 lengths by the winner.
Yeah, he jumped a little awkward, had to find his feet. The valley didn't suit him there because he got back and he couldn't really hit the line on a turning track. Down the straight's going to suit him.
Another Commands horse, and he's a lovely type in the mounting yard too. He's a real racy type. Number 4, Lord of Lauriston. They've got the blinkers on for the first time today. He was near the speed and he faded in his first run, and then he got back and ran on at Moonee Valley. So I wonder what he's going to do today.
Yeah, he's had a couple of goes now, so he's got plenty of experience. The blinkers on. He's been to Flemington. He hasn't been too far away from them, Pete. Only beaten 3 lengths there last start. He's not the worst.
Real interesting runner here, Simon, number 5, Wit and Wisdom. Scratch from Tuesday for this race, which is probably a harder race. Now, he's in the top Matthew Ellerton stable, trained on the track. He'd be well educated here.
He'd be very well educated, and there's a bit of a boom on this horse after he trialled Tuesday morning, Breakfast of the Stars. And look, we'll have a look at him today. I did see the trial and I was very impressed by that. He's just got to handle the race day conditions and he'll be okay.
Fras Salome is one of 2 for Tony McAvoy. This horse is an absolute flying machine, but she just couldn't get across to the rail at Moonee Valley, and that was the end of her chances.
Yeah, she's still learning what it's all about, but look, the couple of experiences she's had now is going to hold her in good stead. She's trained on the track. Lindsay Park know how to get them right.
Craig Newitt aboard 7 Mari Madeline for Grant Dalziel has had 2 runs, placed at both of them, both behind very smart Friedman fillies.
Yeah, well, you know, her run last start, she worked very hard up on the speed. I thought she battled along pretty well, Pete. She battled along okay that day, so she's going to be a bit of a chance.
And Love Jetta, the one that Paddy told us that they've come for, first starter by Dane Hill, trained by Tony McAvoy. Karen McAvoy rides, has a bit going for it.
Haven't seen this one. There's a nice type. It's getting a little bit revved up here, but, gee, she's not too big there at all. You see, she's got a short neck on her. Let's hope she can jump and run.
Well, let's get the latest word on the 2-year-old, and here's the man who can tell us more, John Hawkes. He's with Adam Hamilton.
Yes, he certainly is, Pete. John, the 2 runners here and 2 good youngsters, Picket Fence and Insurgents.
Yeah, both nice horses, Adam. It's back on their home track today, and Picket Fence, good win first up. He found the line good, and the other horse got a little bit lost at the Valley, so I don't think there's much between them. They're both nice horses, and I think they'll both run very well.
OK, and over to the big one today, the Emirates. So you've got 3 runners in Crawl, Boreal and Forum Floozy. The pick of those?
Most probably Boreal, because he's drawn the right gate. The others will be very competitive, but they're just drawn bad gates, so they're going to need a bit of luck, whereas Boreal can make his own luck.
Great to see you at the races today, and good luck.
Thanks, Adam.
John Hawkes, who's going to be a busy man because he's got something like 15 runners today. As we go to the break, as they head to the stalls for the Jayco Maribyrnong Plate, let's join Joanna Griggs.
It's that time again. It's time for the Celebrity Lavazza Tips. Now, we're in the Emirates Marquee. Now, Emirates have had a massive week here at Flemington. Of course, it culminates today with Emirates Stakes Day. And we thought, what a better place to be for our first tip. And we've actually invited one of our cabin crew here, Patricia, and the beautiful Shelley Craft, who's also involved in our coverage. Now, Shelley, first of all, you've been so busy with our coverage. Have you had time to have a bet?
No, I haven't actually. I've had one, of course, on Cup Day, and I haven't even got a chance to be in here as yet. So I'm ready. I've read the form. I'm going Picket Fence for you, for Lavazza.
So number 1 in race 2. Now, what about you, Patricia?
Mine is, I think, number 2, San Zero.
Yeah. San Zero. Now, of course, what we're doing with this, we're putting $100 on the nose for a win. Now, depending on how it goes, any money raised today will be going to the kids from Camp Quality. So it's for a fabulous cause. We've got number 1 for Shelley, number 2 for Patricia, and I'm also putting mine on number 1, Picket Fence. Now, we'll be back after the race to let you know how we go and how that tally is going for the kids from Camp Quality, and, of course, with the generosity of Lavazza Celebrity Tips.
You fascinate me. I'm fascinated. You fascinate me.
The ladies have the fascinators and the men have been fascinated for the past week here at Flemington. There's the scene looking down from up above on the stalls prior to the Jayco Maribyrnong Plate over 1,000 metres. Only a small field here, and in the ring, the 2 that have been solid are number 1, Picket Fence, and number 3, Insurgents, both of the John Hawkes trained runners. And the one that Paddy mentioned before, number 8, Love Jetta, that there was a bit of a whisper for, has been quite easy, and as you can see, is out to $12. We're just about right for action in race 2 on the card, the Jayco Maribyrnong Plate. Once again, courtesy of Sky Channel, here's Greg Miles.
8 running here in the Jayco Maribyrnong Plate. They're set to run. All in, off they go. Picket Fence to the outside, and Mari Madeline began quickly. Only 8 runners, but they're going to split equitably for either side. Out this side now, Mari Madeline is the leader from Fras Salome, Lord of Lauriston. Picket Fence is last of that quartet. On the other side now as they head to the 650, Love Jetta in front of Witten Wisdom, San Zero, and Insurgents is last of that 4. They come along now with about 500 metres left to go. And here the outside might have a slender lead, with Mari Madeline being tackled by Fras Salome, Lord of Lauriston in behind them, and Picket Fence has ridden along at the tail of that division. On the other side, here's San Zero and Insurgents, both coming home very strongly to tackle Love Jetta. Coming towards the 200-metre mark now. Not much between the 2 sides. Mari Madeline with Picket Fence picking it up on this side. San Zero leads the inside. San Zero in front on the inside. I think it might have the overall lead, yes. San Zero clearly wins it well. San Zero first, beating Love Jetta, and 3rd Insurgents, and then Picket Fence beat the grandstand side home easily, but wasn't in the hunt really. Witten Wisdom last of the flat division, then back over to the grandstand for the rest of them. Fras Salome, Mari Madeline and Lord of Lauriston.
That might put the cat amongst the pigeon for the straight races later on. 58.2 seconds, the first 3 all coming down the flat side rail here in race 2, the Jayco Maribyrnong Plate. So let's identify these horses for you. That is the winner, San Zero, over on the inside. In second placing is Love Jetta, And third home in the race was Insurgents in the second set of Hawks colours, and the horse that will beat them home on the outside is Picket Fence number 1. Good racy win, and the experience up the straight we spoke about might have played a big part in this, Simon.
Yeah, beautifully ridden too here by Brett Preble. Obviously knows the horse, wanted to get a bit of cover and have some help going down to the straight, getting out of the chute and hitting the course proper the first time. He waited, he was the last jockey to move, so he was going very nicely. Hands and heels here you see Bretty. Now uses a persuader just to remind this horse to get to the line, because the baby sometime when they get to the front, Peter, will stick their head up and have a bit of a look, but he won nice.
What a week it's been for trainer Lee Freedman. He's really had the highs and the lows. Here he is with Adam Hamilton.
Yeah, it's certainly been an incredible week, Lee, hasn't it? Peter Donegan just saying that, but you've got a very smart one here.
Yeah, he's a nice colt. He showed that a month ago when he had his first start, and I know John Hawkes has got a very good opinion of the winner that day, so we came here pretty confident. He'd had the straight experience and he worked very well.
You've got a very good team of young horses. Where does San Zero sit amongst them?
Oh, well, he's been up and going early, and he's one of the better ones. Yeah, he's in the top 2 or 3 at this stage.
You probably wish there was more to this carnival, because it's getting better as it goes on for you.
Yeah, I've left me run a bit late, but anyway, there's all day today.
Good on you. Well done, Lee Freedman there, and Johnny Letts is out with the winning rider, Brett Preble.
Yes, Brett, San Zero, gee, it was a pretty solid type of win, this horse. Brett, what's the track racing like?
Yeah, it's pretty perfect. It's just obviously a little bit worn on the inside where they've had a lot of racing, but overall, fairly even.
Now, every year we have Brett Preble here 5 or 6 times at least through the carnival. This year's been a bit lean for you. You've got one on protest, and this is your second one over the carnival today, but gee, you've still got another few rides to go yet, Brett, so we can't wipe you off yet, can we?
Yeah, I've had my ears flat back, a little bit sour on it, but nice win will pep me up, and got a lovely day ahead of me, and let's just hope we finish off with a real bang.
And what about Titanic Jack in the Emirates?
He's good enough. Just need a little bit of luck, which hopefully I'll make it.
It's one of those races where luck's going to play a big part, Brett, isn't it?
It always is, that race. It's a lucky race, you know. You've got to be a bit lucky in it, and Group 1, I suppose, always got to be a bit of luck.
All the best in it, mate.
Thanks, I think.
They say horses for courses. Well, jockeys for this time of the year, Brett Preble a couple of years ago, in fact 2 years running, was head and shoulders above every other rider at this carnival, Simon.
Yeah, riding 9 winners throughout the carnival there, Pete, but he's a great jockey, Brett. He hasn't had the best of rides going into the carnival, but as he just said then, he's going to finish the day off with a bang.
And those colours will be going around a little bit later on in the day aboard True Glow in the Emirates Stakes, the big race of the day. Simon, you're going to go for a walk and talk to some of the jockeys?
Yep, and I might grab some popcorn, some fairy floss, Pete.
Bring some back for us. Kenny Callender will be stepping into the chair very shortly. Congratulations to Lee Freedman, Brett Preble and the connections of San Zero, the winner of the Jayco Maribyrnong Plate. Back with more from Flemington right after this.
The 6 to 12-year-olds are lining up to enter Emirates Fashions on the field, and there's 1, 2, 3, there's about 10 lines of littlies, and they all look incredible. What's your name, sweetheart?
I'm Caitlin.
Caitlin, and your name?
Demi.
Demi, now, who dressed you today? Was it Mum or did you choose this yourself?
Mum helped me out with the clothes and stuff.
Excellent, and you look like you've chosen your favourite colour.
I have.
And why are you entering Fashions on the field?
Because I like dressing up a lot.
You boys are looking very dapper, I must say. Did you tie these ties yourself?
I didn't. I did.
You did? Well, you've done a very, very good job. Why are you entering Fashions on the field today?
Because I think it's really fun and the prizes are good. The prizes.
Show me your shoes. Have you got a heel on your shoes? Look at that. Look how early it starts. Now, do they hurt?
No.
So you're used to walking around in heels, are you?
Yes.
Well, they look very, very glamorous and they match your outfits very well, because you know it's very important to match your shoes with your handbag and all the rest. And you've done that, and with the lippy too. Well, good luck. You look stunning.
Mel Simons with the kids who look very fashionable, and there's one that looks extremely fashionable, perhaps a jockey of the future, almost Star of the Realms colours with the white and blue was that won the Derby several years ago. Weight is there now after race 2. Weight right numbers 283. Picket Fence was officially for the time, 58.2. San Zero, if you're on at $4.50 and $1.60. Love Jetta $3. Insurgents $2.10 on Super Tab. You can see the dividends around Australia. Margins were 1 1/4 by a short neck, and the trifecta $273.70. Running double, by the way, paid $129.10. Presentations right after the Jayco Maribyrnong Plate. Jim Wilson.
Ladies and gentlemen, trainer Lee Freedman saluted in the Crown Oaks on Thursday with special harmony. He's back in the winner's circle today in the Jayco Maribyrnong Plate with San Zero. Assisting with our presentation today is committee member Mr. Bill McKinnon and the general manager of Jayco, Mr. Peter Murphy, to make the official presentation.
Thank you, Jim. Chairman, members of the committee, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure on behalf of Jayco Caravans to present the winning trophies for the Group 2 Jayco Maribyrnong Plate. Congratulations to San Zero and all the connections, and on behalf of the owners, I'd like to call on Mr. Mark Hensky to accept the award. Congratulations, Mark.
Hope you found the winner there in race 2. San Zero's connections obviously very happy. I managed to find the winner, and I've been tipping a few racehorses, but my expertise pales in comparison to the two gentlemen that I've been working with, Ken Callender and Dr. Turf. They put in hours upon hours upon hours of study. Well, let's see how they've fared this week.
Backing a winner, never an easy task. To help the punters this carnival, Channel 7 has employed two terrific tipsters, the legendary Kenny Callender and the decorated Dr. Turf.
There's work involved, you know, there's no shortcuts, you've just got to put in the hard yards, otherwise you just end up flushing the money down the dunny, mate. No shortcuts. I reckon they're actually pretty consistent animals. It's the factors that affect their performances that change all the time. As well as that, you know, you've got to consider those little garden gnomes sitting on their backs every day.
Here we are outside Mr. Callender's room. We're going to try and get a comment on his tipping from him. Hello, Mr. Callender? Kenny, can we ask you about your...
Go away.
Can we get a comment, please?
I don't want to talk about it. Go.
Obviously, Kenny has had a mixed bag with his tips this spring. But finally, the great one agrees to see us. Well, Kenny, how would you rate your tipping performance to date?
6 out of 29. I reckon 10 out of 29 would be a pass mark. So work backwards from there. Certainly not 5 out of 10. Might give yourself 3.5, eh?
So, Kenny, how do you pick them?
Well, I'm a bit old-fashioned. I get either the sportsman or the computer form, which now everyone uses computers, even old blokes like me. And I go through every runner, work out the horses I think have got a chance by doing the weights and measures. Then I look at relevant videos, possibly about 6 videos per race. And then I think the most important thing is trying to work out how a race will be run. So I think they're the sort of 3 main steps that I take.
It's a very complicated process, Kenny.
Sounds that way, but it's better than digging up roads. And I think that's what I'd be doing if I couldn't pick some winners.
So how many hours would you spend typically per day sorting out your tips?
For a weekend meeting, probably, 5 or 6 every Friday night.
So there's a real art to this.
It's a science, I like to think.
Science?
Science, yeah, because mathematics come into play and probability and framing your own markets.
You've tipped 7 winners from 29 attempts, Turfy?
Yeah, reasonable. I mean, you're only asking for 1 tip a race. I mean, you look at your average football commentator. They've only got 2 teams to pick from. They've got no jockeys, no wet tracks, all that sort of stuff. We've got 14 or 15 runners.
But don't worry. Our boys have tipped their fair share of winners this spring. Those following the doctor would be feeling very healthy, and fans of Kenny wouldn't have lost their pants like many.
Oaks Day was much better. I backed the first winner, the Sydney filly. That kept me going. I backed the Oaks winner, and I fluked the trifecta in the Oaks.
Did you tell the wife about that, Kenny?
Well, now she knows.
Doctor, you picked the winner of the Cup, so there's something to hang your hat on.
Well, that's right. I mean, this sounds facetious almost, but, the Melbourne Cup, to me, is another 2-mile race. Slightly different because there's a few horses I've never heard of before, the international gallopers. But really, just you treat it as a 2-mile race. Who's going to be up there? Who's going to be back? Who's going to run the trip? Who's not going to run the trip? And, luckily enough, we found Maccabi Diva. She had the good form coming into the race and aided by a brilliant ride.
So for the punters, stick with the doctor and things will be okay?
Hope so. And if not, go and see someone else. Get a second opinion.
Kenny, I guess it's been a tough carnival.
Well, it has, Mark, but, well, it'll be okay if I pick the winner of the Emirates. I better get back to the form. There it is, number 8.
Number 8, Kenny, and if it doesn't come home?
I'll be singing for my supper.
Oh, dear. Ken Callender, welcome. You get a job at the Weather Bureau if you keep throwing things at the dartboard. That's how they do it, isn't it?
Well, mate, I don't mind being made a mug of, but Pete, you were laughing. How have you gone?
Modesty prevents me from telling you.
I know, you're back the last winner. You were counting cash in the break.
I was actually, I was 9 winners for the day going into today, and now I'm up to 10. So I've got a big lead, but you might be able to peg me back at the end of the day.
I'll go quietly.
Well, maybe number 8 might win the Emirates Stakes later on. Let's have a look now at the totes as they stand. Clangalang at 6.40. No Unitab dividends yet because we don't get those until a bit closer to the race. Shogun Lodge, well, he's come up short enough, Ken, at $4.80.
Yeah, look, he's been a marvellous horse, but I think he's got my problem. He's just seen better days.
$8.90 for last year's winner, Scenic Peak, down to Sedecrum, number 7. In case you're wondering how it got the name, spell it backwards. Mercedes.
BMW. Oh.
$7.60 for Sedecrum. $10.40 for Titanic Jack Shawley. He's going to win a big race one day. True Glow at $10.20 is right in the betting as well. And Emission is a little sneaky hope at $18.90. And Forum Floozy, $23 on Super Tab and $10 on New South Wales, Kenny.
And you went past my dart pick very quickly.
Number 8.
Oh,
yes.
Umrum.
Umrum. Oh, wouldn't it be marvellous? We're going to be taking a look at Umrum a little bit later on. He's $40 at the moment on Super Tab, but
he hasn't had this lighter weight for a long, long while.
Yeah, he's just an iron horse. Let's have a look at the totes for the third now. This is the upcoming race. Business at hand, the Troa Matriarch Stakes. Sylvana, $17.40. Sweet Corn, probably along with Xana Kenny, I reckon, is the most consistent mare going around at the moment.
Yeah, she's a good mare, Sweet Corn. I think that's unders myself all the same.
Yeah, only 2-1 on Super Tab. $8.10 for Gold Lottie. Bit of a tip around for it this morning. Mrs. Tendulkar, terrific run the other day, but she can do a few things wrong. $11.70. Over the page, we look at the rest of them. And here's another one that can find a lot of interference, Sabino Canyon, but she is one who's just indicated that she's going to win a race very soon. Sabino Canyon at $4.80 and $4.70 in New South Wales, and a little bit better on Unitab. Down to the betting ring, let's find out what the wash-up was for race 2. Importantly, look ahead to race 3, Pat Welsh.
Peter, I was very disappointed when you were handing out the congratulations for the second that you didn't include me, because I backed my second winner of the carnival. So high celebrations down here at the moment. Now, both Sweet Corn and Sabino Canyon, the two favourites, the two we expected to dominate betting in this race, have been slightly easy so far early in betting. And as Kenny Callender mentioned, probably we needed a little better odds Sweet Corn than the $3.50. So Sweet Corn I've taken out just a little bit. Gold Lottie, Imperatrix and Mrs. Tendulkar have also been a little bit easy. As we move down towards Sabino Canyon, one that I can give you an early tip for, there's been a little bit of money just specking at this stage for Millanova in a couple of points, and Sabino Canyon I'm winding out to about the $4.50, $4.60 mark. So as we expected, Sweet Corn and Sabino Canyon will dominate betting, but just that little bit of early specking for Millanova.
Very remiss of me not to congratulate you, Paddy. Well done. Sabino Canyon from Dr. Turf and myself in the Troa Matriarch Stakes, and Kenny has gone for Gold Lottie. The map, this particular race, over 2,000 metres. They start alongside the Maribyrnong River, and the good thing is, even though it is quite a big field, that they will have a long run to the first turn, so everything should have a posse by the time they start making that sweeping bend at the 1,400 metre mark. So we've reached the last day. Hope you're enjoying it. Hope you've managed to find a winner in the first couple of races, and the great thing is that the roses here at Flemington are finally in bloom.
Here to win today?
Yeah.
Okay. And what's the competition like?
Good, but there's heaps of really good dresses and stuff.
Do you know who made your dress?